What is going on, everybody? Happy Thanksgiving Eve. And as you can tell by the title of today's video, had a nice day, $9,000 in profit across three expert accounts with my funded futures. This is the one 50K, and then these are the two 50K accounts. So let's jump right into doing some trade reviews. And today, without a doubt, was a face ripper of a bloodbath of a morning. And today is the type of day where you can easily get caught up in trying to catch the bottom. So here's a 5 minute chart. And I have my Fibonacci's pulled up right here because I anticipated with this opening print, we were going to retest it somehow. And I was expecting further of a push up into this candle much further than we had this little dragonfly doji candle here. I thought we were going to come up at least to the 50 to 38 and re-push back down. That was initially the plan here. But again, these are the type of days where historically I myself have gotten chopped up, lost accounts, blown accounts, lost money, trying to find the bottom. And as you could tell by a majority of the trades here, this is on my 150K account. This is where the bottom likely was at the time, and I kind of had a better sense of that based off of the MACD as well as some of the price action. And I had my levels charted out accordingly. So let's just go over the trades real quick. Had one here for a small guy, 150. Had a better one here of 3,000. But here is where things get interesting. Had somewhat of a loss here, 360. Got 3,900 back right here. But it was tough, and holding 15 contracts, I'm very much an all in, all out type of trader. I don't scale in or anything like that. I'm either married to my position or I'm not, and you could tell that by this loss right here. I got stopped out, right? But at the end of the day, it's a $360 loss with 15 contracts. I don't know why it says buy 15, sell 4. Super weird. I don't understand. But I mean, it looks like we're pushing back down again. So again, if you're trying to find the bottom and hold on to that, you're screwed. But let's jump right into a lower time frame here. Let's jump into the 1 minute. So you'll notice we had somewhat of a bounce up here and a pull back into it. And I actually thought this was the double bottom before we had our push up. And that's how I was able to grab this 3,800. So pretty simple and straightforward there. Just over 10 points on that one. So had a nice push up, sold at what was the top at the time. I anticipated it going much further, but as we look at the DOM over here and the volume profile, excuse me, you could tell we were right at the top of that volume node and it just pushed itself right back down. And then ultimately here is the stop out because I thought we were going to have a continuation move forward. Obviously it got stopped out thankfully. So easy enough there. 3,900 right here. This was the bigger play up to the top. So that was off of this little, I guess you could call imbalance or fair value gap, whatever the case is, whatever you want to call it. We can still stretch this out. But we pushed ourselves back down and we had a monstrous move up, and I was patiently waiting for the pullback. And here is the pullback candle. But on a 1 minute candle, I was expecting much further of a push into this fair value gap. I wanted to see at least 50% of this get retraced so I can enter in here and have my push up. However, that did not happen. We pushed up here. And then you'll notice, let's just zoom in on some of these candles. We had this push down and then we pushed up. So one thing I've noticed with NQ is that the previous wick, the preceding wick likes to test the prior wick. So when we pushed down in here and we started to push up, my fill wasn't exactly the greatest. I got filled right here at 719, and then look what happened with the next candle. We pushed ourselves right back into it and took some heat on that. But I was confident that this was the candle that was going to shake out the weak longs and push it up much further than it did. Should have sold here, but ended up selling here. And that's the trade on that one. Now, mind you, if you're trying to find the bottom, which is incredibly difficult to do, and you kept placing a stop here, and you had to stop here, and you had to stop here, you're going to be stopped out multiple times, and your drawdown's just getting chewed up. Another thing on a day like today, especially before a holiday, is you want to be careful of that FOMO, and I am experiencing a massive amount of FOMO myself. I can't believe we're getting this much speed at 11:49 in the morning Eastern on NQ. But here is why you have to be cautious when looking for the bottom. Let's go down here to the bottom left and look at the daily chart. I've had this charted out all week. We have had one, two, well, actually, let's say we've had One, two, three, four, five, 6 days of inside action. That is miserable. That's brutal. That's what I've been talking about this entire week on my channel, guys. This price action has been brutal and it's been coiling up to make some sort of a bigger move. And I think today we're seeing that. It's healthy for NQ because this price action has been absolutely insane. The only thing that I am trying to figure out at this time is, are sellers getting just absolutely absorbed right now, or are the buyers getting absorbed? It's hard to say which direction we're going into, especially with the forthcoming administration. I thought we were going to see somewhat of a squeeze straight through 21,200 and beyond. But maybe they're just pulling this back, they being market makers or whomever, they're pulling this back to set us up for a really nice Q1 of 2025. Completely unsure. I have no idea, but this is exactly what I'm thinking about and what I'm wondering as we go through the rest of this week. I think you're going to see some inside action tomorrow, especially Thanksgiving. Curious to see on Black Friday, but that remains to be seen. NQ is putting in a red day as well. We could very well see a rebound, though. Who knows? We could see this get pushed right back up into into this ascending triangle or wedge, and close inside of it and just keep grinding ourselves back up. That would be an insane wicking candle, but I believe this is indicative of the trend that is forthcoming. So a majority of my positions, probably through the remainder of this week, if I trade Thanksgiving and Black Friday, will be to the short side, and then looking forward next week as well, unless I am just prove otherwise. So, looking at the Fibonacci retracements, let's go back to just strictly talking about today. So we have our complete move up, and then nope, that's the wrong Fibonacci. Here we go. Okay. So you can expect to see something retrace close to, 20,800. So are we going to see a 100-point rebound going into the close today? That remains to be seen. But we have had a monstrous move. I mean, we've had over a 200-point move to the downside. Historically, seeing these days tells me it's going to be a choppy afternoon and we're not going to see much price action. So if I had to guess, hopeful me would say that I would want to see somewhat of a rebound going into the close where we retrace back up into this general range up towards VWAP. However, it looks like we have somewhat of a funky little range being maybe established here. Again, this is all speculation. I have no idea, provided that this is the bottom, right? So do we have somewhat of a consolidation range before we push lower? Remains to be seen. Completely unsure if you're looking at the 1-minute chart. I mean, you're seeing somewhat of a rebound here, but you've seen multiple rebounds just get completely sold right into. So very tough to say, but going into the afternoon of today, I'm going to be watching to see if there's any chop, or I'm only going to take a complete. I'm going to take a trade only if I see my doji candle setup that I like to look for. But I mean, we're so far away from VWAP here on the 1-minute. We've got quite a ways to go with all of these other levels that did not act as support like they were supposed to. If you're looking at, I'll pull up the 5-minute on this. If you were looking at, just move this out of the way. It's one thing TradingView has to get so much better with their drawings. All of these levels here indicate what was to be support and resistance. Obviously, everything above here is resistance, which acted really nicely doing so. But we were supposed to find support, and we did not. So my anticipation would be that these start to flip and act as resistance, which further validates my thesis for further downside price action. So that's what I'm watching there. The trades on my 50K accounts aren't too exciting, but I think we should just focus on what the thesis is today. That was my trade review. A majority of the profits came from the 150K account, where I can trade 15 contracts, hold that a little longer, and get some nice profits out of that. So we're up just over 10K on 2 days on those. But guys, have yourself a great Thanksgiving. Please comment below with any questions that you may have. And other than that, I wish you the best for the rest of this trading week. Please respect your risk, and I'll see you in the next video.